Dodgers have turned the fewest double plays in Major League Baseball. Tony Phillips coming up for the third time. Here's what happened in the first. John Ho left it over the plate, and Tony smacked it. His fourth home run. His second leadoff homer this year. And that gave the Angels a quick 1-0 lead. Then Tony singled in 2 off of John Ho in the second. And the Dodgers back for 2 unearned runs here in the fourth. Tony Phillips was going to quit baseball about a year and a half ago, and Dusty Baker talked him out of it. Fastball in the inside corner for a strike. Dusty had been a teammate of Tony's at Oakland, as had Davey Lopes and Joe Morgan, among others. And Phillips told Baker in spring training a year ago in March, "They don't give me any respect, Dusty." And Tony laughs now. He said, "Dusty got right up in my face and screamed at me. Said, respect? They didn't give Hank Aaron respect. He had 755 home runs. You ought to be having the time of your life right now because you don't need the game anymore. You did it. You made it. Now think of all those kids in your ball club. I know God didn't give you all that talent, all that knowledge to take it to the hills and keep it to yourself." And Phillips said, "I tell myself he's right," and he stayed. While it was coming out, John Ho may have hurt himself. They're going to give Luis Alcacé a base hit. Too hot to handle. Third hit of the game for the Angels. I guess John Ho has persuaded him he's okay. No balls and 2 strikes to Tony Phillips. Phillips coming to the Angels from the White Sox in May, and since he came back to Anaheim, he has started at 5 positions: left field, right field, second base, third base, and designated hitter. Very high for a ball. 2 years ago, Tony hit a career-high 27 home runs for the Angels, scored 119 runs. But the management didn't try to keep him when his $4.4 million contract expired after the year. Ooh, he almost walked into that, and he's screaming at John Ho. He's a very volatile baseball player. Prince and Phillips are pushing each other now. Karras trying to get between them. Here comes Terry Collins to grab Phillips. The bench is clear. Here they come in from the Dodger bullpen. The Angels come in from the other side from their bullpen. They move Sean-Ho Park away. And our first on the field altercation in some time for the Dodgers. The fella who was trying to keep John Ho back was the Angels catcher Chad Kruger, who came with Phillips from the White Sox in that trade. And Prince is very upset. Gagne talking to Phillips. They were together in the American League for a number of years. American League umpires standing in now trying to separate the principals, restore a little order here. Sports Illustrated did a story a few weeks ago on Tony Phillips, and in it they said he is an enigma wrapped inside a puzzle stuffed inside a powder keg. He has not only a temper but also a penchant for saying whatever he thinks, no matter whom it offends or how much trouble it may get him in. Paul Molitor described Tony Phillips as the Charles Barkley of baseball. I can't think of anyone who is more direct. Now, Wilson Guerrero is trying to keep Roger Cedeno out of this thing. A lot of people in baseball believe that Tony Phillips is both the best leadoff hitter in the league and also one of the fieriest players in baseball. All right, let's see if anybody's going to be ejected after all this. Phillips buzzed by a park pitch. Shouted at Sean Ho. Took a step out toward him after this pitch. He's always moving around the batter's box. Little chin music, and Phillips started yelling. He talks a whole lot, usually to umpires and rival catchers. But this time he was upset with the Dodger pitcher. And Tom Prince wanted to make sure that Phillips didn't have thoughts of going. So Tom Prince stepped in front. And Tony didn't like that too much. And they started pushing the other guy. Karras, the first guy in to intervene. Now the 4 American League umpires are going to gather up along third and try to make a decision. All the relievers are going back to their bullpens. I didn't see any punches thrown. There are the 2 managers. Bill Russell and Terry Collins in the Dodger organization together for 8 years or more. Both of them managed at Albuquerque earlier in their managerial careers. Tony Phillips is 38 years old. He has been in pro baseball long enough to have been traded for Willie Montañez. Remember that name? Well, apparently nobody has been booted out. Prince is still handling Park, but the umpires are still meeting. So the plate umpire, Mark Johnson, is considered one of the best ball strike umpires in the American League, is talking. DeSarcina and Gagne, the 2 shortstops, and Greg just put his arm around Gary. And a lot of shoving. Big smile on Mark Johnson's face. I think what we'll probably get here is a warning. That's a bad rule because they warned both ball clubs, and now Jason Dixon cannot retaliate for the Angels. If he comes close, he could get kicked out, and Terry Collins will be automatically ejected as well. Jim Leyritz looking on. No, nobody was ejected from the game, so here we go. We had a little break in the action, that's all. The count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. The score is 3-2 Angels, bottom of the 4th. 2 men out, nobody on for Anaheim. And Phillips back in there. Tried for the outside corner and missed. There are only 2 batters in the American League who've had more walks this year than Phillips. Jay Buhner and Jim Thome. Tony had walked 61 times this season. So let's see what Chano gives him. 3 and 2 here. And time is called. Now Johnson indicates to Park he can pitch. And here comes the 3-2. Got him swinging. For Park, his 3rd strikeout. And he had to love that. At the end of 4, Angels 3, Dodgers 2.